Hello, this is Dave Sugarbaker, and today is the 12th day of May, 2024. And so it's Mother's Day, and so in a excess of bad timing, I've decided that I'm going to talk today about hell. That's just how it worked out on my sermon preparations. I have a brief reading from Matthew chapter 10. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in Gehenna. So there are two Texas criminals, old guys. They were lifelong friends. They were partners in crime for what seemed to be forever, and they happened to die at roughly the same time. So they arrived at the gates of hell simultaneously. Satan was there to meet them, and he had a rap sheet in his hand outlining the sins and transgressions of this pair. Satan said, "Boys, you look like you had a lot of fun at other people's expense, and now you're going to have to pay for your sins. You were partners in life, and you're going to be partners in hell as well." Satan put the two into a windowless cell and turned up the heat. A week later, he looked in on the two, and they were lounging around, seemingly undisturbed by the heat. Satan shook his head. One of them said, "Shucks, this ain't nothing. We've had Texas summers where it was so hot you could fry an egg on the sidewalk." So Satan left, and he turned up the heat. Another week passed, and Satan checked in on the two of them again to see if they were suffering properly. The other good old boy took the occasion to say, "This ain't nothing. We've seen more heat whilst we was out hunting armadillos. That's illegal, you know." Satan shook his head again, didn't know if he'd be able to roast these two, and so he changed his strategy. He turned off all the heat and turned on the super satanic air conditioner, and he left them to freeze for another week. When he checked on the two again, they were hooping and hollering, clapping each other on the back. They asked Satan if Satan had any beer so they could celebrate. Satan couldn't believe it. He asked the two what they were so happy about. They were supposed to be suffering. And one of them said, "Well, with hell freezing over like this, it seems to us that it can only mean one thing, that the Cowboys won the Super Bowl." Both the Old Testament and the New Testament talk about hell. At least that's the English word that they use for the place of punishment and suffering. The original word used before translation was Gehenna, or the Gehenna of fire. It had to be a really bad place, and there are various descriptions of just how bad it was. Historically, there was a real place called Gehenna, and it was right next to Jerusalem, outside the city wall. And the rabbis for ages described this as a garbage dump, complete with unburied bodies and constant fires to keep down the smell. You have to have a proper burial if you're a proper Jew. You need a proper burial. It's a dreadful thing for a Jew to contemplate that he won't have a proper funeral. And to be thrown onto the garbage heap would have been appropriate hellish occasion for a Jew. Even touching a dead body would make a Jew unclean, and therefore unable to enter the temple and to worship Yahweh. Others described Gehenna as a place where child sacrifice had been practiced, something that was absolutely abhorrent to the Jews. In any case, to be consigned to Gehenna was about the worst thing that a Jew could imagine. So that's ancient definitions of hell. Let me describe what I believe may be some modern hell. My wife Elaine is remodeling one of our bathrooms, and in this process she ordered a new set of shower hardware from China. Now, it arrived just the other day, and Elaine showed the new hardware to the plumber who was installing the necessary new pipes and stuff, and the plumber declared that the Chinese shower fixture just wouldn't work. These fixtures were incompatible with modern American fixtures. Elaine went out and got some American-made shower hardware, and it was installed without a problem. So now I'm trying to return the Chinese fixtures. I found the website where I could request permission to return the shower hardware, and I jumped through a few hoops and filled out portions of the form that was on the website. And then the website asked me to attach a picture or two of the hardware so that the website could process my application for the return. Couldn't process the pictures. I can't get the website to accept any pictures, and without the pictures, I can't get permission to return the merchandise. So I feel stupid and I can't make it work. I feel like I'm stuck in some modern circle of hell that Dante had not described. This is brand new and it feels demonic. Jean-Paul Sartre wrote in his play No Exit, "Hell is other people." Now, Sartre makes his case for his definition of hell, but the irony is that we might also say heaven is other people. Our first human interactions in this world are with family, and family is where we learn that Earth, as Robert Frost would put it, is the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. So I have a question. How can we strengthen family life? There's so much militating against family these days. You can put all the family in the same room and they'll all be isolated from each other because each will be captured by their screen, their personal screen. How can we facilitate learning about love in a family setting? Because that's where we learn it. I remember doing an exercise with teens at a grief camp. It was a weekend program some years ago when I was a chaplain at hospice. So I came prepared. I had long dowels, maybe 2 feet long, and a whole bunch of surgical tape. And so I would take the arm of these 12 or 15 teens who were at the camp, and I put the dowel on their arm and then taped it up so that their arm was stiff and they couldn't bend their elbow. So when everybody was all prepared with their arm unbendable, I gave them all a spoon. And with their arm stiffened the way it was, they couldn't bend their elbow to get the spoon in their mouth. So then I brought out a big bowl of jelly beans, and I said, go for it, have a party, eat all the jelly beans you want, but you have to use the spoon to get them and eat them. Well, it took them a few minutes, but they finally figured out that they couldn't feed themselves. You can't get a fork or a spoon to your mouth without bending your elbow, but they could feed others. So at that point, I stopped the exercise. As far as I was concerned, it was over. And I said, some people will starve to death because their elbows don't work. Others learn that they can feed each other. That's the difference between heaven and hell. Now, God bless you. Take care. See you soon.